Hi guys. So if you're here, I'm assuming you're here to learn how to read the tarot cards. If you haven't watched my introduction video, um, please watch that before you start on the cards, just because it gives some tips on using your intuition and how to further use the cards and just some general advice that'll help you on your path. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and get into it and share the screen. Oh, before we move on, I do have to give honor to my mama. So this is my mom. And these are the tarot cards that she actually used to read with. They're actually playing deck cards, or I still haven't read with them. I'm assuming maybe sorry about that. Assuming maybe she's just waiting for me to read for family or something. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen because I have some um, pictures for you guys. All right. All right, so we're just going to go through the first, I think, 8 cards of the Major Arcana. Now, the Major Arcana is made up of 22 cards of the tarot, and it represents major energies or major steps in a person's life and in a reading. The tarot follows the story of the hero's journey. So as you learn the tarot and as you learn the major arcana, you'll see how this correlates to real life, and it'll allow you to read the cards a little bit better. So I'm going to go over the cards and their general meaning. If there's an association with an astrological sign or energy, I'm going to let you guys know about that. And I did pick up, I made postings of 2 different decks because I do want you guys to see the same card in different decks so you can get a kind of feel the energy of the general meaning of the card. And you shouldn't just go with the traditional deck. Whatever deck you're attracted to is specific to the way that you're going to intuitively read with those. So I want to show a lot of different decks in this video series so you guys have lots of options and kind of get familiar with what the cards look like. So tonight I'm using the just traditional Rider-Waite tarot, as well as the Mystic Mondays tarot, and that is on the top part there. All right, so if you look at the Fool, this is the first step in the hero's journey. If you notice, the Fool doesn't have a number. It starts with 0. 0 also correlates with source in numerology. So the Fool is the beginning. If you're reading this in a tarot reading and the Fool came up, you would read it as, oh, you're beginning something brand new. So that's an easy correlation. The Fool also is going forward, as you see on both cards. They're stepping towards the edge. They kind of don't have a care in the world. So the Fool goes forward with kind of the initial spark in their heart. The Fool is associated with the zodiac sign Aries, the first zodiac sign. And the Fool and Aries is kind of like aim. It's just like going forward, not knowing the results, just knowing, that, hey, I'm starting something new. I'm really excited about it. It's also associated with fire and action. So when you see the Fool in a card reading, you're going to know that someone's taking action towards a new path or action towards a new ideal. If you saw this in a love reading, with the Lovers, let's say, and the person was asking about how their relationship was going to go, depending upon the other cards, you could say, oh, well, you're definitely starting a new beginning with this relationship. And then you could ask the cards for more details if, they were staying with this relationship or going to another one. So the Fool is associated with the divine spark. Fire signs are associated with intuition. So an idea that you're getting, from the ethers, from your soul, something that lights you up. The sun is exalted in Aries. So something that, makes you happy, going on a new journey, not worrying about, really how you're going to get there yet. Just saying, hey, I got this new idea. I'm going forward. I'm not fearing failure. I'll work out the details along the way, which is why some people read the Fool as, foolhardy, but that's not the traditional meaning. The Fool is somebody who goes forward with the eyes of a child. And it's actually a very pure energy. It's an energy where you're restarting a cycle, perhaps after being through a really jagged and beat up by the world, the material realm in an old cycle, and deciding to shed all that and not be afraid and go forward without burdens. If you notice in the traditional Rider Waite deck, the Fool has a lot of yellow in it. Just in yellow corresponds to the third chakra, which is all about self-esteem and courage. And it does also have orange as well, correlating with the sacral chakra, saying that, yeah, your passion is lighting up. I'm going forward. I'm having the confidence to go forward without fear. If you look up on the Mystic Monday, she's actually holding a flower out. And if you see her skirt is very transparent. So I would read that if I was reading a reading as, she's showing herself. She's stepping out into the unknown, and she's willing to, not be bartered by fear, not be held back by fear in any way. She's stepping to the edge, and some people, may be like, oh, well, they've got this crazy idea. But, to have that confidence and to have that inspiration and to have that potential rise up in you is actually a very beautiful thing. It would be the first of the zodiac as well. So it would represent early spring. So if you want to think of it as an energy, think of it as, when spring, everything's not really ready to grow yet, but you're, kind of planning all these dreams in your head, probably huge dreams in your head. And, just like looking forward for the new season, waiting for that potential to grow, like giving the energy available for some kind of dream to grow. But if you want to think of the Fool in like 2 words, you'd think of it as, a new beginning. So the Fool is a new beginning associated with Aries, very creative, very from the heart, very something that lights you up and sparks you up. Okay. And I do know, I'm just noting that I should get, she's standing on a crystal, things like that in different card decks will resonate to you specifically. So if you associate like crystals with something, you would bring that into your reading with the Fool card. Also a lot of white in here. So I'd associate that with like purity. So the Fool, coming forward with a new idea that's very pure and very from the heart. And she's actually holding a rose too, indicating, she's going towards her heart's path. She's starting anew. She's not letting everything from the past hold her back. All right. And let's just see if I can get to the next card. All right. And the next card in the Major Arcana is card number 1, actually. And that is the Magician card. The Magician associated with Mercury, the planet, or Hermes Trismegistus, also the zodiac signs of Gemini and Virgo. It represents, going from that great idea and going towards it with action, actually like bringing your mental power into it, kind of looking at details, bringing the esoteric, like the things that sprung from your heart with these new ideas, the things that you were guided to do, and actually getting it down in the material realm and sorting these things out. With the Magician, if it comes up in a spread, you'd want to be like, you have all the tools you need. The Magician indicates, having the balance of kind of intuition and smarts. So it's a dual energy. It's a changeable energy, meaning that you're transforming something. Virgo and Gemini are mutable signs, meaning that they can change things, like they're able to manifest. So the Magician is all about manifestation. If it came up in a spread, you'd say, you know, when somebody was asking about love, I guess we'll go with love for this first part of the course. If someone was asking about love, you'd say, you know, you are bringing it, you know, your divine intuition in with your thoughts, like you're manifesting this in your life, you're bringing the energy towards you that you know is equal to yours. So the Magician is all about, you know, taking hold of your dream. If you see down here, it's he has the infinity sign on his head. He's got the yellow background, which does indicate, you know, the ego, like having strength and ego, but now we're adding some red. So what does red mean? So we're bringing that down to the material plane. We're mixing the intuitive spark that comes out of the heart, that the sun is what lights you up, what lights your soul up, kind of like your path. And we're bringing that and we're mixing it, you know, with actual some grounding and some mental energy. You're finding a balance here. So he's got a wand in his hand. He's got a chalice, a pentacle on this table. So it indicates, you know, and there's growth too. So note the growth with the Magician, like you're doing something, or somebody in the reading would be doing something to actually grow something with not just going towards something with, like with the Fool, actually working to change and manifest and mold your situation like you would like it. If you look up here to the Mystic Monday deck, she as well has the infinity symbol. She's got a little Buddha bun on her head, which does indicate to me, you know, having your antennas up, just like Mercury, you know, the planet is a sign for it. And she's taking two different elements, you know, she's taking the elements and she's transmuting them. It's an alchemical process. And if you just look at it, it almost looks like the world in here, and a circle, you know, represents the wholeness, the divine, the energy cycles. And, you know, she's with her hands and with her knowledge, she's actually growing what she needs to grow in here on the material plane. So yeah, that's kind of the first material step of the hero's journey. You know, you have this grand idea with the Fool, you know, it comes into you, could be like a message from your guides, like, oh, I want to do this, or, you know, however you see the idea coming forth, going on a new path, you know, starting a new journey. And then with the Magician, you're actually sitting down and, you know, you're gathering your tools, you're figuring out, it could be a card of like, you know, attaining knowledge. But things, you know, you're still doing this by yourself. There's no other people that came along the journey with you yet. All right. So it's a clever card. It's a card of smarts. All right. And next we have card number 2, which is the High Priestess. Now it doesn't have an official association. I associate the High Priestess with the moon, with intuition, possibly Pisces, or some kind of divine feminine intuitive sign, so which could be many placements. But if you look at the traditional Rider-Waite down here, there's these 2 columns. So one is black and one is white, and that talks about, you know, really looking into yourself, seeing you know, your shadow side and your light side after you manifested some things and brought things open, you know, together with the Magician, you know, listening again to what's right for you, your intuition opening up because you did take steps on the material plane to grow something, and now really getting in touch with your divine feminine, getting in touch with your internal magic, you know, kind of like waiting for answers, or literally asking for answers. The High Priestess, a very moony card. She's got the moon on her head up here around the third eye. She does have the confidence, and she's conquered the places in the background. She's grown the fruit of the knowledge. And now she's stepping forward, you know, to kind of like say, okay, I've got all this. Now what do I do? You know, what's my next step on this journey? Where should I go next? If this came up at a reading and the high priestess came up, I would be like, well, you're getting intuitive hits. Trust your intuition on this. Trust your feeling. The high priestess is all about an internal feeling. It doesn't feel like you're grabbing towards something. It's a feeling that's easy and flowing within you. It's looking inside for your inner guidance. It could also be numerology with two represents two people. It represents, yin and yang, dark and light. So it's really balancing those energies, seeing situations as, seeing both sides of situations, but also looking towards that for intuitive growth. It could literally also mean a teacher or some kind of guidance coming into your life. Like if you pulled this in a reading and you were taking this tarot class, I'd be like, if the other cards matched up to it, I'd be like, okay, so you're developing your intuition in some way. If it was a reading about the person, and the high priestess came in, I'd be like, well, you're developing your intuition. What's this about? Da da da. So it's literally either going to a teacher or higher knowledge, or looking inside yourself to develop that intuition and, kind of clearing your area, like understanding, going into those feelings so you can really be familiar with them. Yeah, it's a very moony card. It's a very feminine card. It's not a card that rules over people. It's a very flowing. So it'd be like a Piscean feel, Cancerian feel, a very moon feel. Um, things that are hidden coming to the surface through the natural course of action. She does have the moon down here on the traditional card, and she's very much in blue. It almost looks like there's moonlight shining down on her dress. The moon is represented by the metal silver. So things that you can't see or things that you can't explain coming to light. She does have that confidence in herself with the crescent. The crescent is very, that's actually an Egyptian symbol. The high priestess also represents Isis in Egyptian Hermeticism. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the high priestess, it's like a divine, it's like the female version of a priest. It'd be the high priestess, but instead of making the rules and going with the traditions, she is really in tune with the earth and really in tune with the messages that she gets that she doesn't read in a book, that she it's either oral or it's something passed down the line. If you look at the top card, that the third eye is prominent, which would be using your intuition. She's balancing a ball and movement, so that tells me like particle wave, like she's balancing it all, and she's sitting there and she's not moving and she's receiving. So the high priestess is all about receiving with your intuition, and possibly seeking other knowledge, seeking out knowledge from other places. But it's a very soft card. It's also a balancing, seeing both sides of situations, seeing that we all have dark and light, and going for guidance on how to use that. All right, so the next card is the Empress, card number 3. 3 actually in numerology indicating like things working together, the triangle, the natural joining of male and female. If you look down on the traditional Rider-Waite card down here, you see, there is confidence with the yellow in the background, but look at her. She has the sign of Venus actually on her throne. I refer to the Empress as the Taurus card. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Taurus is a very fixed earth sign. Taurus literally represents the earth, and the Empress would represent Mother Earth or the mother goddess or the female, birthing things. The Empress doesn't run out and get anything. She knows who she is, and she's confident in her expression, and in her connection with both her femininity and nature and earth, and she's open and she allows, she receives, but from what she receives, she also births. It's kind of like the energy in Hinduism or Buddhism, how when a female receives from the male, it actually allows her to express her energy in a more divine way for him. So that's how the Empress is perceived. Now the Empress is also a blend of all four queens, so she has an equal balance and mastery over the cups, so the emotions, over the swords, so she's very smart, over the wands, so she's very creative, and over the pentacles, so she also grounds all that and brings that, to manifest in the real world. She does have a crown on, of course, and always her staff, and she is cloaked in white, indicating purity, indicating just divine purity. And she also has the fruits of the roses on her dress, indicating, just manifesting something, like a birthing of something. If the Empress came up in a reading, I'd ask if the person was pregnant, first of all, or if they were looking to become pregnant, because the Empress does indicate, birthing something in the real world. On the hero's journey, the Empress coming right after the High Priestess would be, the High Priestess and the Magician. They're kind of like a couple. If they come up in a reading, you could see that the Magician and the High Priestess is a couple. And when you blend, the Mercury mental energy and the High Priestess moony energy, you actually get a blending of, smarts and intuition, which can manifest on the real world. The Empress is the first card that is actually bringing something forth. So it's actually the first thing that manifests things. You could be celebrated if this card came up for that you actually like succeeded with something in the real world that was all your own. It could be a card of, growing your own business, or like growing literally a garden. It's a card of growth, and it's a card of being sure in your growth, and it's a card of growth, that comes with ease, and something, that you're a natural at. So if a person was asking about love and the Empress card came up, I'd say, well, this is a very loving, nurturing relationship. This is a relationship that will grow over time. Like it's dependable, it's balanced. So yeah. If you look at the card up here, the Mystic Monday card, you see, she is very abundant. If you look at the card, it has the water, and it has the crown, the mental energy. But look at, she's holding a pomegranate and a banana, which is kind of like a blending of the male and female energies. But she's cloaked in green, she's cloaked in like nature, she's cloaked in mother, she's actually naked. So it could, the rivers are coming from her, so it is a visual cue of birthing something in that card. And the sun is red and orange, so indicates the red, the base chakra, being very grounded in the material world, being very sure of yourself, and also the sacral chakra, which does indicate, divine reproduction, divine love, being sure in that, being holding in that. The pomegranate is it's a very traditionally sacred fruit, so she's being able to eat of the sacred fruit, and also, able to rule easily. She's the Empress. She doesn't have to tell people things, she doesn't have to like barter over things. People bring things to her because she's established herself as, wise and giving and loving and nurturing, and able to birth not only children, but able to birth ideas, able to birth creativity, able to birth taking the Fool, bringing the smarts and intuition, and able to bring that forward with material gains in the material world. So the card of Taurus, sure in herself, fixed energy, a birthing energy, a mother earth energy, a mother goddess energy. Yeah, so that is the third card of the Major Arcana. And if we continue the Fool's journey, we have the Empress's counterpart, the Emperor, also represented by Aries, but a later decan of Aries. So the Fool, on the Fool's journey, you got wisdom, you sought your, inner knowledge or esoteric knowledge from somewhere else, or got guidance, you birthed something. And now with the emperor, you're taking control of your life. You're taking control of your existence. It could be a business owner. You could be starting a business if the emperor came up. um but it's something that you are taking control of. If you look down here at the traditional rider Waite, he's in red. He is very confident. He's very, sure of himself. You do have the Aries Rams heads here. And it could also be interpreted as Capricorn because he is sitting on a stone throne, and Saturn does rule stone. So this is something, that somebody's taking charge of, that is meant to be long term. um it could actually be, emperor also represents somebody that rules over many kingdoms, but not in a harsh way. The emperor knows how to balance all the kings, so he knows how to balance the material realm, the emotional realm. Oh my gosh, I have this amazing moth in my house right now. That's very cool. The King of Swords, he's very mental, but he knows how to cut things out also that don't belong. And the fire realm, so he's very creative, and passionate about what he does. The emperor is somebody who's passionate about what they do. And if it is somebody such as a boss, or some people, if it was brought up with cards that didn't look the best, it could indicate a dictator. But usually Aries as a sign and the Emperor as an energy indicates somebody that takes care of people that can't take care of themselves. Like he feels a strong responsibility to care for, his brethren, his family, his country, his nation. So he's going to do that wisely, but also with heart. He's been through some stuff. You might have been through some stuff by this point where you get to the emperor, because he is wearing metal armor. So nothing's personal with the emperor. It's all about business and what's better for the group. It's not really divide and conquer, but he'll do that if it's gonna assist people that that are in his clan. He's ready to go to war, but he's not looking for it. He does have a crystal ball, and another, the Egyptian Ankhs, I think it's called. So the life, the wand of life, and the intuition in his hand. He feels responsible, literally, with the circle of the world. And he feels responsible for the lives of the people around him. So it could indicate a business owner feeling responsible for the people in their company, the employees. Or it could also indicate authority figure, a dad. If it came up in a love reading and the emperor was there, and there was no cards indicating anything ill-willed, or if you didn't get the feeling that he just suddenly looked angry that day, which could totally be a thing, I'd say, well, this is a very balanced individual. This individual that's coming into your life, or is in your life, is showing up. Like, he's going to be responsible. He's not going to be like, he's older than a page or a knight. Like, he knows how to be stable and balanced, and you're not going to have a hard time with him. But he does expect also, he's the empress's mate, because he goes out and he does all these things all day, and then when he comes home, the empress nurtures him. So it is like the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Now, if you look up at the and if you just, his beard, he's wise. You've been through a little bit of the road already by the time you get to the emperor. The emperor, it's also number 4, which does indicate stability. The number 4 indicates you've been through the kind of the choices you've had to make, and number 4 indicates a stable balance. Like, you've got something stable, you've got 4 legs on the chair, stability. If you look up at the Mystic Monday tarot, you see the emperor doesn't really have a face. He is sitting on his throne, but there are 2 balanced Egyptian, why can't I think, pyramids in the back. Pyramids are very esoteric. It indicates, having that balance, being strong, having a strong, like he grew something strong in his past. It also, you have bare arms around him. So, indicating that he is leading a clan. He's, somehow taking care of people in his rule. The same things would apply. In this card specifically, I would really point to the fact that he's colored white, like he's not really showing his face. Like I think that if I read that in a reading with all the purple down here, especially indicating the crown chakra, that like he's showing up to do his job. He's not really getting personal, just like him down here. He's just there to do his job. He has a great responsibility on his back, carrying the bear on his back. He indicates this as kind of a sacred job, as his sacred calling, and his responsibility. Now, this could indicate a female as well, but just some female that's like really exhibiting a lot of male energy in the reading. Somebody that's taking on things, taking on responsibilities, being able to balance that and kind of coordinate whatever the reading's about. So in a balanced way. All right. And if we keep on going, so for card number 5, it indicates the Hierophant. Now, this is the official card of Taurus. So it's fixed earth. So being number 5, it does indicate a change in the journey. So up till now, you kind of were doing your own thing. You did possibly receive guidance from other people, but this indicates with the Hierophant a long-standing tradition. So Tauruses are very loyal, they're very long-standing, they're very traditional, they like simple things. The Hierophant indicates, something long-standing, be it a religion or an institution or some kind of authority figure, or, it also represents, going and getting married, which is a very traditional, sacred bond. So if this came up with like the Lovers and Empress and the Emperor and like the 2 of Cups or whatever, I'd be like, oh, or, that you could be getting married. Here's a Hierophant, like legal paperwork, legal contracts, something long standing that you're getting into with the Hierophant. You see it's red. There's 2 people down here. It could also mean, you are having to face with the 5, which is a change in the journey, kind of like a struggle. 5s are kind of like, a little change, a little turn, something that you have to take care of on the material realm. It could indicate, having to deal with the laws or the structures around whatever situation it is. It could be balancing your creative passion, whatever new journey you're on, with the situations that you've got to learn how to maneuver. It could be, feeling like you have a lot of red tape, or you have to balance now your new idea with the traditions of your community or your family or your relationship. And, trying to find a balance within that, which can be a little bit of a, back and forth. So, yeah, he has his hand up. He's, it's kind of like a sacred traditional law, something long standing, a vow or a promise. It could be, somebody literally going back to school and, engaging in the tradition of, longstanding education or the priesthood. The Hierophant is a priest. So just anything that's been along for a long time that you're either engaging with on your journey or trying to find how you could bring the balance of the traditional ways into whatever journey you're on. Yeah, or it could be an authority figure that you're feeling like you have to kind of maneuver or deal with or find some kind of balance with, because it is a 5. So it does indicate, like a kind of a little shakeup or a turn in the actual course. You could feel with Taurus being fixed earth, that you have to maybe succumb your ideas or succumb your creativity or succumb, kind of your way in order to fit into an established box. If we look up at the Mystic Mondays, we have the Egyptian pyramid, but also the eye, the all-seeing eye at the top of it. So with that, it could also be, going into an esoteric, long-standing practice, like learning about the mystery schools. The Hierophant down here being the priest could also be like reading the Bible, learning about the mysteries, learning about the esoteric things. What's got long-standing history that you're now like learning the tarot could literally be, the Hierophant in a spread. And I'm going to show you guys example spreads and bring this all together for you. So if this seems a little overwhelming, like don't have it be, just know that the Hierophant is something in the material plane that you're engaging with, some kind of long-standing tradition that you're going to kind of have to maneuver around or engage with, like actually engage, not just like on an esoteric level, although, it can bring esoteric energies to you, and it can bring like marriage. You write a piece of paper, that's the material plane, but love is not the material plane. So it's kind of like a blending of the both. Yeah. So, and I'm just noting up here, how, it may be just one way with the eye, or you actually could be excited to engage with this, with the eye. It may seem, with the Hierophant, it may seem domineering, like I said, with the red, and the confidence and kind of just the structured background, and someone, being above you. That person's, this Hierophant is literally above these two people. But it could be, you going to get knowledge. The Egyptians, the eye is, all about seeking knowledge, seeking truth. So it could be lovely as well, depending upon the cards we're on. All right, so for card number 6, 6 indicates a balance, a give and take. The Lovers, which is a card of Gemini, which is a card of the twins, which is a card of 2 different energies. The Lovers indicates a choice. So it could, of course, indicate love. Clearly the Lovers, but it's also indicates, you've got all the knowledge, you've got all the, you've gone along this path and you are wise. You've actually consulted long-standing wisdom. You've looked in what traditions are. You've got, your inner calling. You had your spark with the Fool, and now with the Lovers is making a choice. So if this came up in a reading, any kind of reading, it would be like, well, you've got a choice to make. If you look at the traditional Rider Waite, we have, of course, they're both naked, indicating, kind of the lusty passion of lovers and of love, kind of the people coming together, which can just be lusty or it can actually be divine. And that is the choice. Like, there could also be a choice of 2 people. Gemini represents 2 literal people, but it indicates a choice of how you're going forward at this point, how you're going forward with the project, how you're going forward with love, how you're going forward with your life. Like, what road will you choose to find the best balance for you up to this point? Which choice will make you stable in yourself and work out bringing another person in? Because this literally represents, bringing someone in, making a choice, like sharing your life. So it can be stormy. Like, we got storm clouds in the back here, like the love, like when you start off, when you meet a lover, it's a major thing. It could be like passions and just like pheromones brewing and all of those things. But these people are always also being brought together, voluntarily. So that's something as well. It could be, I personally have found that everyone you meet for a minute, moment, or season has significance in your life. So this is someone coming into somebody's life with significance. Somebody is showing up that has, you know, that you have to make a choice about, like, am I going to allow this person in my life? Am I going to join with this person? Am I going to, you know, and if you have two different energies to choose from, which one is the best for you? Maybe it's the best just to have, you know, like fiery, crazy energy, but the lovers looks to balance. And with the lovers, the choice you make will have implications on your path ahead. Yeah, so there's a lot of orange down here, sacral energy, fiery energy. It's just a very dynamic card, but also a card where, you know, people are looking to see what choice you make. You could actually be getting viewed on the choice you make. Up here, we just have the Mystic Mondays. We got a love, a little heart here. People like, you know, kind of just getting together. So the lovers is pretty self-explanatory. Becoming naked and open with another person. Literally, they have no clothes on. And wondering, you know, not really worrying too far into the future. Just having to make a choice on, you know, engaging, connecting, merging souls or not, I guess. So yeah. And if you look up here, there's a path behind them. So like, which path will you take? Like, are you going to go ahead with this person? What is your choice with the lovers? Okay, so that is number 6. And then we get to number 7. So 7 is the Chariot, which indicates movement, fast movement. After you've made your choice, the next major step is movement. The Chariot is ruled by the Cancer, the astrological sign Cancer. So the Chariot, Cancer is a cardinal water sign, indicating that, you know, you feel at this point, you feel this is a very going ahead with emotions, going ahead with what you feel is right, kind of being celebrated. In the traditional rider Waite, you know, he's like riding in this chariot, and, you know, there's stars all around him, and he's got, you know, like little crown on, and he's been blessed with the 2 different sphinxes, the light and the dark. So things, if I saw this in a reading, I'd be like, okay, things are going to move very fast. The Chariot also indicates taking, you know, being ready to swerve back and forth, not taking the traditional path, taking your own path, because of a Cancer, a crab, you know, doesn't ever go straight forward towards something. Like the Fool might go in the beginning of the journey, the Fool goes straight forward, like Aries just. So the Cancer like knows how to maneuver, trusts in their ability to maneuver on the way. They will never go just in a straight path. Balancing the light and the dark, knowing that things are going forward, but having the faith that, you know, you have the reins, you're able to rein in whatever situation you are, you're going to be able to maneuver, because it is a cardinal sign of movement, the movement of water, the movement, knowing where to go. You're going to, if this came up in a reading, you know, you're going somewhere fast, it's going to seem like it's coming fast, but you're going to know, you're going to feel where to go. You're going to be able to maneuver just like water down a river. If you look up here with the traditional, the Mystic Mondays, you know, she's got her hands up and she's just like letting the chariot go. So that's kind of what it is. With her hands up, it almost feels like if I was reading, if I picked this deck out for somebody, I'd be like, okay, so things are going really fast and it might be overwhelming you. So that's kind of like a difference on how you read the decks. So if this came up at a reading, it's for a reason. And you might ask the person like, do you feel out of control? Because like, and then just say, you know, you have your hands there. This is going to be a great ride. You know, you can control this chariot. So yeah. Okay, so that's a chariot, things going ahead fast. You've been through the Fool, you've developed it all, you've gotten your knowledge, you've faced, you know, authority or traditions, you made the choice with the Lovers, and now things are full speed ahead and going very quickly with the Chariot, but also bringing it's an emotional card. After you pick a lover, you know, things can go ahead and it's very passionate and emotional, but also, you know, maneuvering that path as well and being seen as celebrated for everything you've accomplished thus far. Okay, so that is card number 7. 7 in numerology is always something like that is kind of manifested, or something that is a little, it can be a very divine number. It's a number of divinity, but also it can be a number of, a number of like strife or change, or seeing what you've grown so far. And I think that's all about, the Cancerian intuition of, knowing that you're going to be able to turn and not go forward, and kind of be protective of your path, even though it's going so fast. So, kind of steering those reins, knowing, they might feel out of control at sometimes, but you're able to really draw that back into yourself. All right, and then we get to card number 8. 8, the sign of infinity. 8, the sign with numerology of, like leadership, but also a lot of struggles to get to that leadership. The traditional card of Leo. So of course, down here on the traditional Rider Waite, we have the lion. We do have the infinity sign. We have the color of the sun, the color of courage, the color of, your ego energy, being lit up by that original dream, and now having that dream coming into reality, and, kind of stepping forward with Leo. Leo shines from the heart. He rules the heart, being able to, like, perhaps, having the strength to say something in public. With the strength card, you could also be getting criticism from outside sources. That's why he's petting the lion here, because some things could hurt your ego, but you know what's right for you with the strength card. And you're kind of balancing energies. If there's people coming at you, you're going to tame them like the lion. You're going to use kindness, and you're going to know who you are, so that you don't actually have to have fights. Leo's the royalty of the zodiac, people who are very sure in their place. Leos are leaders. So with this card, having the strength, leading something. If you get opposition, being able to calm that very easily, because you know who you are. People who are leaders and know who they are rarely get in fights with other people. Rarely, even if competitors kind of like attack them, they usually don't have time for it, because they know who they are and they think there's room for everybody. They don't really let it bother them. So that's really the card of strength, having the strength and pride in yourself to just go forward in your truth, in what shines from your heart, having the knowledge, being through all of the challenges thus far, and knowing what's right for you, and just having the strength to bring that out in the world.